It's here.
All right.
Okay. Oh, this is great. Okay. So, you're going to use my camera to take pictures, or?
I was going to use mine.
Okay. All right. Good. Are we ready to go, people?
We are.
Yep.
Hold on, I got to check my text. I had one question that I had to have asked before we got started tonight. Okay. Very good. All right, everybody, thank you. Hello. Order in the court, everybody. How come nobody's sitting on Link's side? This isn't like a wedding. Everybody's right. Really? You did not take a shower today. All right, that doesn't surprise me, sir. Good enough. That's okay. I guess that's a good enough answer. Okay, it's Tuesday, the 21st of January. We're here at the Town of Poolesville Commissioners meeting, starting promptly once again at 7 p.m. And we've got a decent agenda tonight, plenty of things to talk about. But before we get started, we want to have our Pledge of Allegiance. Who wants to start us?
Why don't you start us off, Jim?
I'm at a loss without Jeff.
Yeah, you got it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioners, don't sit down yet. Audience members, we have an announcement, and we need your help. It's Wade's birthday tomorrow. And he tried to hide it, and now we can sing happy birthday to Wade. Ready?
Wow.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wade. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now we can join the Poolesville seniors.
I'm there.
And you can thank your lovely bride for tipping me off on that one.
Oh, she.
I was wondering how.
And I have it in my calendar, but it doesn't go off till tomorrow. So I would have been behind the time on it.
You
So.
probably tipped him off and said, "Don't keep him here all night."
I don't know. He's probably spending the night here. Maybe they'll have a nice Zoom session later, whatever. We'll leave that alone. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, so actually we'll do it in a little bit of reverse order tonight, only because instead of doing our commissioner announcements and reports, we'll go straight to our holiday lighting contest winners tonight, which is a big deal, and it's awesome that we have representation here of it. Some of these are, I drove around, looked at these places, and it was awesome. So I'm really pleased with the people that won, and they did a great job, as well as our people that voted on them, et cetera. So, commissioners, come on, let's see some Christmas lights from you guys next year. You're not disqualified.
I have lights up.
Yours were good. Nobody goes back to your court.
Yours were good, and they're
yeah.
meaningless.
I didn't have any this year. I tried.
Oh, that's you tried.
I tried, but I don't know. Some of your references didn't pan out.
So, my son may be watching this.
I was waiting to see if
know that?
House came out.
Did you-
and if that
did
would have
you
worked, I
set
would
a
have called
traditional-
too.
Stopped installing
contemporary?
December stuff. Like, who does that?
No, she refused to
His
engage
reference.
me.
Yeah.
Tara did.
Okay.
What
You
you got
sidestepped
for
the
us?
question.
Yeah, she sidestepped
Okay,
the
I
question. All right, we're going to do a poll right now since we're here.
Okay.
Everybody, audience members, we need your help. Pay attention. This is a good poll. Kids in the back, your vote counts here, okay? We have to ask the question, contemporary lights versus traditional lights. Are white lights considered to be contemporary or traditional? Go ahead. Everybody that thinks the white lights are traditional, please raise your hand. Contemporary means new and modern. Are white lights traditional, or are they contemporary? Okay, it looks like contemporary might be the winner on that one by 1 or 2 votes. All right, you guys. Well, hey, you registered your vote. You're good. All right. Thank you for that, guys. We still didn't settle it, in other words. And our holiday lighting person refused to engage me on it, so we've just moved on.
Wise move.
We've moved on, right. Every year I ask the same question, I don't get an answer. All right, so first of all, for holiday lighting contest winners, The Candy Cane Lane Award goes to Jason and Ashley Elliott. Let's hear it for these guys. Come on up. Hey, Niles, you ready?
Yeah. There should be the,
I got it right here. I'm ready to go. We just need this.
Yep.
yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
That's just for us to look at.
Look at you guys. I love this wear. You would have won if just by wearing this, as far as I'm concerned. All right, guys, here we go.
Great jersey. I've got one.
Well, I don't.
Right. Oh, here comes Dad. Hold on. Hang on. All right, you guys, let's hear it for him. Nice job. If you want your name on it, come have your dad call me tomorrow. All right, very good. The Griswold Award. That is Ben and Maureen Gilly. Are they here? They are not here, but let's hear it for them. Oh, they are? Let's hear it.
Yeah, because this is Ben Marie Gilly.
Okay.
Now
Now we figured out what this is. Right.
There's the,
What are those? Do we know?
they're the gift cards.
They're the gift cards. Okay, no wonder I was trying to keep those. All right, very good. So Ben and Mo, they will get theirs later on. And the award for Home for the Holidays was Dan and Haley Glazier. They're not here, but let's give them a round of applause. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they should have closed for that. Should come up for that. All right, very good. I'm going to move it around a little bit because my man's last. The Mary Marketplace Award goes to Heather Soskin Photography. And we have a gift card for her right here. So Heather, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, here you go. Let's hear it for Heather. And see, this is what happens when we delayed giving things out.
I know.
It all faded. We're like almost into February. I get that already.
The light's still out, so it's okay.
I was going to say, all.
No, our lights are still out. Yeah, thanks, guys. Oh, don't bring that up.
It's like a pet peeve of mine. This is over.
All right, last.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave the red ones up for Valentine's Day. There you go. Last but not least,
Traditional ones.
the Misfit Toy Award goes to Christopher and Dolores Trader. Chris Trader, come on down, man.
That's his bag.
So, Chris, describe to us why you got the Misfit Award, if you don't mind. Why did you get why is your title, why was it titled the Misfit Award? What did you do?
You guys, Tara, she's the one that made the category.
All right, well, okay, man.
I just went.
Great answer, great answer.
All right, look at the camera.
Which one is two going on?
Cross your eyes.
That's good.
Do this one more time. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
All right, Chris, congratulations. Let's hear for Chris.
Sir, yes, sir.
Oh, it's Jim.
What about favorite foods? Oh, Chris, you're up.
Oh, if it was what
You take the car, he gets the bag.
10-year-old about that.
What was the comment? What was it? Somebody else said something. Ed,
Oh, I said he gets the card and you get the bag.
that could happen. That could easily happen. All right, you guys, that's good. We will catch up with the other award winners and try to get some pictures taken and see if we can get them to come in.
And I've had several people come up to me since it snowed and said, we're so glad the lights are up so we can enjoy the
That's nice.
holiday magic with this. Just so you know, lots of good positive feedback.
I'm at the green guy on the mountain.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't take Link's job.
Yeah, Link is that guy. Anyway, I think it's great the lights are up too, so thank you for that. All right, guys, very good. Men, thank you for your being on board with all that fun.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. All right, so you guys, thank you for being through this. The award winners, you can stay for the rest of this if you want to, or you can just leave whenever you feel like it's time. Oh, there they go, some abandoning the ship.
Yeah.
That's all they needed.
Don't blame you.
That's all right, you guys. Good luck on Sunday. See you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Good seeing you. two of my basketball camp guys every time. Dudes, they never miss. They're awesome. All right, guys, very good. So thank you for that, and appreciate us moving on down the line on the agenda tonight. It's commissioner announcements, committee reports time. Brian, since your name's the first one up, I'm going to go with you.
All right, I'll go first. We met on Wednesday, the 15th, so just this past Wednesday. We had a motion in front, or a request in front of us to extend the Donegan property Poolesville Crossing preliminary plan. They're very close. They think they'll probably be breaking ground in the next 60 days.
Wow.
But it's still with Montgomery County, so that's not a given. And their permit was up, so they needed to extend, so we extended them another 12 months. But obviously, we won't need that,
Right.
we hope.
Yes.
We presented water and wastewater capacity reports. We did approve both.
The wastewater was the only.
Wastewater we approved, we don't have to approve the water.
Yeah,
So we approved that, that's ready to go to,
and that's on tonight.
that's one for us tonight, right? And then we had a discussion about, or an update from the staff about PFAS remediation. And then we had another discussion about parking with the Cultural Arts District. I think we've outlined some things that we're gonna get some language back. And I know I keep saying this, but I think we're getting pretty close to having something to present.
It's okay. It's not a huge rush.
Right.
More important to get it right.
Yep.
Good. Is that it for you?
That's it for me.
When's the next time you guys meet?
Meet again next month on the
12th.
12th.
Okay, ways away. Good stuff. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Alan, help us out.
All right, finally, I went to my first Parks Board meeting. after
Congrats,
2
man.
months being
Congrats.
gone.
Way to
And all the
go.
cancellation. So January 8th, we met, discussed the Trails Working Group for the plan of the town, discussed the upgrades, the existing trails, and the addition of the new trails per the 1990 master plan. A lot of great ideas and obviously extensive time commitment already to showcase such a wonderful concept to our residents to utilize. It's actually 11 proposed trails, so
Wow.
pretty much goes all the way and, migrates through the town in every development in some capacity, but it's fantastic. I didn't know anything about it until the Parks Board meeting, but it was, well, actually, that's not true, because I saw some people walking by one of the proposed trails at my house. So,
Oh, really?
yes. Second, we, presentation of the Brick and Property Park and Streets Improvement. Approved the tot lot and playground equipment, with the exception of the use of the rubber mulch. We're going to go with an engineered wood fiber, I believe. Discussed the forest conservation, which the Planning Commission has already approved. And then we had a discussion on installing some no parking signs along Wooten Avenue between Fisher and the Well 3 site. There were some complaints from residents and parents during PES drop-off. Just too much traffic on Wooten, bottlenecking, and then I don't know if it was calls of some overflow from Cole Halls and so forth. And there was an abandoned vehicle. I don't know if it's been removed since, but it's been a while.
Yes, yep.
Did we end up having to remove it?
Yes.
We did agree to and discuss no parking signs from the hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. From the intersection of Wooten and Fisher back to the Brooks Park entrance, just to keep that traffic moving. Fourth, Preston provided his report. They completed a bunch of tree planting last month and trimming. Tree trimming continues as needed. Aeration of the athletic field is going to commence once the weather allows to do so. Looking to hire, Preston's looking to hire 3 more seasonal staff for the upcoming maintenance season. Youth fishing tournament would like to come back for some of the designated ponds. We'll have to agree upon that. Also, one of the bigger things that, well, not the bigger things, but another thing, it was in some of the cul-de-sacs in town, we have an island of grass, and it's becoming I don't know, a nemesis on some of the emergency vehicles getting in around the circle. So we talked about maybe eliminating that island, the raised islands. I don't know how many there is, but there's several that we discussed.
Better talk to the residents about that one.
Yeah, that's
We will.
a tricky one there.
I know those guys
We
will
will,
defend
but it
those
was talked
islands
about,
like
yep.
it was their island.
But, at the end of the day, I just want to thank Preston and the entire town staff for all the snow removal. It's obviously been more than what we anticipated. Like clockwork, every 2 hours, I have the same resident of Poolesville, come in and plow my Hunter's Run and Tom Fox. And
Good.
you know what? It's a lot of hours, but the town's always well-maintained. And, I just want to thank everybody for their dedication and time commitment and sacrifices.
We'll pass it
And
on
that's what I have.
Yeah, thanks. So we figured out it's 24 miles plus parking lots of plowing. Yeah, the guys
And
do it.
sidewalks.
And sidewalks,
Oh, yeah,
right? Yeah, I can't
sidewalks, yeah.
forget sidewalks, right? Huge amount of work. Remember when, before we even had that sidewalk plowing device, how many of those do we have?
We have 2 of those now.
2. Yeah, we had none. And that was some bad times. That was some real labor going out there. It was good to see that in action. I saw the guys going around here and it was, just moves real quick.
Oh, it was, yep.
So, yeah, that was good. All right, Alan, anything else?
That's all I have.
Question for you guys, and staff, you can help on this too. On the trails, with the Trails Committee making these recommendations, run me through what happens next.
So they're going to present to the planning commission as well. And
Okay.
then from there, it can be,
Bless you.
the idea was to present it to, their recommendations to the commissioners through the Parks Board. That was the original, idea behind it. And then from there, as sort of the proposals suggest, is sort of putting them in the plan, sort of updating the plan, because there's this original 1990 plan, updating that, and then have it sort of on the shelf for various improvements over time. Some things are easier to do than others. So
Right.
that was sort of the whole
Like
idea.
prioritize them.
Exactly.
We'll have to come up with some cost estimates for all of them too, and be able to
Yep.
budget them in. Some of them will be budgeted, and some will be for if a development occurs, then they'll have the onus to do it.
Yeah.
So will it be on the onus of the Parks Board initially to develop the queue for this, or is that something that's going to come after cost estimates, or
Right.
or Planning Commission has a role in that as well, or?
I think that's probably part of the Parks Board should certainly
Yes.
take that challenge on and make recommendations to the commissioners.
Yeah. So since from it, because what the Trails Working Group did is propose things where it seemed practical to say, this is an easier thing to do than this, but not necessarily give it a pure prioritization.
Right.
So that's sort of where the Parks Board will come in.
Okay.
And the recommendation was also to try and do it areas to completion.
Yep.
Instead of doing something that was easy in one spot and not connecting to another trail on the other end, do something that would tie loops together first.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to seeing more development on that as time goes on, but appreciate the report on that. Also, too, since you're here, and Jonathan's here, too, in the back. Jonathan Harris, you're the president of the Westmont HOA? Vice President of Westmont HOA, and we had a couple of residents, in fact, you probably saw me, or I can't remember if I responded publicly or not, but I saw the posts on the traffic and the traffic flow, and we will get with Town Hall. We've already done some things on Coalhouse, but it sounds like we might need more. Go ahead.
And some of that we've talked about, I think we have talked about previously as well, of looking at, we're going to repaint some areas with the yellow, parking curbs and things like that in the springtime. So some of that we've already talked about and already are engaged in doing, so. Yeah. And we're also gonna have to come back with a parking plan for the HOA, for the actual spots themselves to be repainted as well, because that's one of the things.
Yeah, I think Matt was gonna work on getting with you on that.
Yep.
But, I'm the one kind of pushing for the revamping of the parking.
Mhm.
And if we could get a map of the parking lot, like as soon as possible, because I would like to kind of look at it and maybe present it to, the HOA and kind of sort things out, as before the repaving and painting, that would be awesome.
That's what Matt and I have talked about, and he's trying to get me that information so that we can all have the same information. We don't maintain those plans.
Okay.
So that's where that falls.
Okay.
So,
And
he emailed me last week about trying to round those up, so we'll see where we can,
And we've never had control of those
Yeah.
before, ever.
And
That
that's-
HOA has stood since the initial construction.
and there's a specific requirements that were put in when that development was made about who would control the parking. So there's an actual
Yeah. Yeah.
resolution and agreement that was stipulated to by the town about those spots. So we can, and I sent that to Matt as well, so we can all connect on that as well.
To be clear, the HOA is in control of the spots, or
Of the spots, yes.
spots, but not the, right.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Chief, if you came up, see what happens, you get called on. And you gave some good clarity on it too, Jonathan, I appreciate that. Let Matt know too, I didn't mean to outrank him on that, because I've talked to him before too. So you guys are doing the right thing. Thank you for you're the best stewards that we've had in recent times of that, and we appreciate your efforts on it and also your civic engagement. So keep it up, yeah. And work with our guys, we're here to solve problems, so. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And your residents send me notes personally, so I get it. And that's fine too. I always like hearing from them. So you guys, we know what we're doing there. Appreciate that. You got kind of the gist of what we got going on there.
Yep.
All right, very good, guys. Thank you for that, everybody. Appreciate all the commentary. Ed, you want to do sustainable Poolesville and fair access?
Sure, well, I'm gonna have Sarah
Yep.
do fair access, and then with sustainable pools, so we meet tomorrow. And what we're gonna go over, we're gonna talk about zero waste box, we're gonna go over the Pick It Up Poolesville campaign that's been happening. And then one of the things that's really cool is that we're gonna have someone from the Global Ecology, Aaron Burns, from Global Ecology at Poolesville High School, is gonna come to our meeting, and we're looking at ways to get some of the students more involved with things around sustainability.
Cool.
So
Good.
stay tuned.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And Niles did a pretty good job in his newsletter,
With the zero
giving
waste
us more on
box.
the zero waste box.
Right.
And
And we
good,
had
good
someone come
explanation.
in and drop off batteries here to Town
Okay.
Hall today, and based on seeing that email. So it is getting out there, and I think.
I will say the person who's
yeah.
chairing, the person who heads up that committee, Mrs. Reed,
Yep.
she was quite excited to get that alert about what you put out with the zero waste box.
Yeah.
What size batteries are you taking? I mean, all kinds, car batteries?
Yeah, not quite car batteries,
think car
but it's in the email.
Motorcycle batteries?
Typical household,
Yeah.
typical household batteries, not car batteries.
Right,
It's household.
Yeah, but it's in the email.
yeah, and that's what I'm,
Somebody send that to me? I
That's
didn't.
what now.
I will
Yes,
forward
sir,
it
said
to you.
to me. It was on your alert. You gotta
It's
make
on
sure
the
you're getting
alert.
all your alerts.
Yeah.
So,
That for some reason. I thought I was signed up for that.
yeah.
I put it all into, I did it to your regular Gmail, not I can sign you up with the commissioner one as well.
All right.
Get rid of your car batteries appropriately, please.
Fine.
All right, Ed, thank you for that. Sarah?
Sure. Just three things. We have rescheduled Kate Stewart, the president of the county councils, to come do a tour of Poolesville and meet with Fair Access Committee, WAMCO, Poolesville Seniors, Upcounty Prevention Network on February 13th. Anyone who wants to be a part of that?
February 13th.
Also, we did get the new executive CIP budget released, and that's the capital improvement budget. And we were hoping to see the community center and the pool bubble start dates moved up, because we have made such efforts to provide a location for the community center and some seed money for the pool bubble, and we've done a lot of the research. We did not see that, so we are planning on a muster email that will be sent out near the end of this month, so more to come on that. And then finally, we're continuing to create this sort of database of county committee openings so that we can match that with residents in the western part of the county so that we have more representation from our communities. Not just Poolesville, but the whole western part of the county. And I know that Niles has worked on some language that will be posted on the website that kind of describes the importance of these positions and the fact that we're not necessarily, it's not our job to promote particular candidates for these committees, but our goal is to make residents aware when there are openings and to facilitate in any way, whether it's helping people understand what the process is like or giving them advice if they need it, just so that we have more representation from our part of the county.
Got it. Yep, understood. Very good. I'll pick up a little bit more on fair access too, and thank you for that, Sarah. Appreciate that. As you guys know, we've been working on the pool bubble for some time now, and it's kind of an all-encompassing task, right? It has to come from all angles. We're soliciting advice from a lot of different people on it. As everybody knows, we took a field trip out to St. Mary's. We've been in touch with bubble construction companies. It's really, call it a bubble, but it's an enclosure. And we've done a lot of research to try and hand this to the county in the best possible way and keep them charged. Like, okay, you might be stalled, but here's more information for you that's coming to you in a great way. Link always puts it together, and then we advocate. So we did recently just get some of the revenue figures in for how things work at the pool, and I was impressed. I thought it was some real money. And it's a good thing, and it doesn't even really calculate how much it really is. Because there's, you can get year-long memberships, and there's other ways to pay. So it's a good, the money is real, and we have to make the case again to the county. Of course, the money is real, too, to staff it year-round. So we understand that. We have to.
They made very clear when they gave us.
They did, yeah. Yeah, it was like, here's the numbers, and here's how, and.
How much it will cost.
That's how much it will cost, or, that it's still a big number. But that's okay. We've dealt with big numbers before in the past. We're going to stay on top of it. And we just got that information in recently on that, so that's I'll dissect it out to the commissioners so you guys can see what's going on there. And we also, sorry, I was zoning out on how to present White's Ferry. Again, like we should forget how nobody can remember what's going on with that. We did just recently get, we solicited, haven't heard anything for quite some time. I wrote probably my not nicest letter yet to the DOT and copied Marilyn Balcom, copied David Fraser-Dago, since he's been running it from the state side, and we have a meeting that we're going to be scheduled with DOT next week for an update. So, the boat's not going across the river, right? That's all it comes down to. But they've been ignoring us, so at least we're going to get an update, and I'll quickly, Link and I will filter it out to the commissioners and let you know what we're doing on that. My main thing is we're not spending money on this, right? This is personal time. We're doing it that way. We're not going to spend the town's money trying to chase down White's Ferry, but we are going to continue our advocacy as hard as we can. So we'll see what happens with that. Regarding the ferry too, we had a lot of publicity at the end of December for the quote-unquote anniversary. We didn't get to hold our protest that we wanted to because they put us off by saying that they've got something going on. But here we are coming up on the end of January, and there's nothing been announced. Maybe we'll find something different. I remain discouraged, but we will stay vigilant on it and keep you guys in the loop. Don't waste your brain power trying to figure this out, because it's just not worth it. But we have to stay on top of it, and we will stay on top of it, and we'll call on the board here when we need you to do it. In the same vein, Link has come up with the idea, and actually it probably came from one of our delegates, to make a petition to the Public Service Commission of Maryland, and to send that petition, and I circulated amongst the commissioners so you guys could read it. And we know it's a long shot, but it also keeps us in their forefront, and to let them know that we're taking as many avenues as we can to explore this. So, Link, you want to elaborate on that at all?
So it actually came about in a discussion I had with Linda Foley. She was a vice president of the Communications Workers of America when I was in Verizon, so I knew her when she was there. And we just talked about old times one day, and I said, the ferry is really a monopoly. And that's why telephone companies are regulated, why gas lines are regulated, why electricity is regulated, because it's a monopoly. There are no competitive alternatives. Yeah, you can go up to Point of Rocks, but it's obviously not convenient. So I think there's a case to be made that this is a monopoly that should be subject to the Public Service Commission's authority. We also found the actual statute, 1780 1 that was enacted in the state of Maryland that regulates ferries in Maryland. And it has a lot of language in there that does speak to public service for these ferries, which means they are a common carrier. And it speaks to the fact that if the county, they call it, in those days, they call it the county judge, but basically it means a county, regulates a ferry and they do not provide service after they get their authority to do so, the county has the authority to take that charter and give it to another provider and also build equipment if it needs to, buy equipment if it needs to, and it owns that equipment going forward. So basically it's saying you can't just get a ferry and just sit there for 4 years. Now, I know part of the reason he is doing that is because he has no landing. But part of the reason is that he's just not been very cooperative either. So we just thought that, I talked to Linda about it. I did not get her approval to do it, but I did talk to her about it, so she knows that we're thinking about it. She also has been exploring it with the Public Service Chairman, his name is Kumar Barbe, who's a former legislator. I don't know him, but I know he's very, very popular, well-known, well-respected. So he also knows how to deal with politics on this. And so even if it doesn't ever get the Public Service Commission to take it on, and all we're asking them to do is investigate this. Is this subject to your regulation? Do you have authority over it? And what can you do to help get it running? That's basically what I asked them to do. If he decides I'm not going to do it, it still gives us the chance to file something. And you saw the filing. It has the history of what we've been through, some good data about the economics. So it gives us another chance to get press and public attention on it. And this time, it's going to be in a forum where state legislators and the Public Service Commission are directly involved. So it's a little harder for the ferry owner and the landowner to ignore it this time. So we just thought we had to stand up and do something ourselves. The other reason we're doing this is it doesn't cost money. We looked at a legal filing and getting lawyers to file in a court and then having to go for months and months and refile and testify and all that is just too much money. But this is not. It's free, basically. Well, our work is free. I'll put it that way. So,
Thank you for that, Link. I appreciate it. And we did run it past Jay, asked him not to spend a lot of time on it, and he was not encouraging. But he also said don't do it. So we are going to do it as long as this board has a general approval of the idea. So we don't need a vote, but we just need to know if you're okay with us sending this out.
Jay said, double negative, don't.
Don't. Right.
Double negative.
Double negative.
Thank you for clarification.
He said it was fine. He didn't know if they actually had the jurisdiction to do anything with it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't either,
I
honestly.
think if anything, it
Well-
is showing that we are exploring all avenues. Maybe the mere conversation of it adds some added pressure to people in their negotiations. So I don't see a downside.
We hope that someone anywhere downstream will actually care and look at it.
So we're going to keep pushing it forward
That's what
until
we're going
someone
to do that,
does.
right?
And hopefully that someone will be the right one to get these two to come together and get
Yes.
something done.
Right. Yeah, let's see. And then if we have any, again, we meet next week with Chris Conklin and Emil, and we'll see what we have after that. But we'll let you guys know.
So when would this hearing be?
Well, we have to petition first.
Oh, okay. So we're still at the very
We can
beginning.
file it whenever we want to, so.
Okay.
So I wanted to wait till we talked about it tonight in public. Assuming you guys are good with it, then we'll go ahead and file a
Yeah,
petition,
good.
and then we'll go from there.
If we don't do it, can we actually say we're doing everything we can?
Yeah, we can't. We don't. All right, very good, guys. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's the end of my report. Approval of the minutes. We had a meeting on January 6th. All of us were there. Does anybody have any questions on the minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes from our meeting on January 6th.
I'll second.
Motion made by Sarah, second by Brian. Any other questions on the minutes of January 6th? All in favor of approval, say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Minutes have been approved for January 6th. Thank you for that. All right, new business. It's the time of year where we get to hear budget proposals from our various, and as you saw, I wrote on Facebook today, our partners in Poolesville. So we're really appreciative of all the work that our groups do. Very, very appreciative. Probably none more important than the Poolesville seniors, at least until I get into fair access. But the Poolesville seniors do an unbelievable job for us, and they're second to none as far as I'm concerned. And so tonight, you guys, please come up and tell us what you want to talk to us about and introduce your group if you want to. I know you're supported by your hierarchy. And Dave.
Is it okay if I bring my treasurer?
Everybody can come up
Yep,
as far as
anyone.
I'm concerned.
Spotlight's on
Move
you guys.
chairs up.
All Poolesville.
Chris, are you leaving during the seniors? Chris, this is talk about seniors. Are you sure you don't want to stay?
Age 50 plus.
Like I said, I'm not up. I have to go to Old Town, I gotta be maintenance man, so.
All right, you're the man. Good seeing you, brother.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, do I need to say my address and stuff?
Yeah, you might as well. Thank you for the record. You can pull that microphone down a little bit. You're good.
Oh, I don't know how to do this.
We can hear you
Is
good.
it on? or-
Yeah,
oh,
it's already on.
Okay. Maria Brianzone, Poolesville Seniors, and address 19012 Dowden Circle, Poolesville. You want to say yours?
William McDonald, address here in Poolesville, 17205 Lightfoot Lane.
Great. Thank you guys for coming up. Appreciate it and appreciate the presentation.
Rich, where are you?
Yep.
You want to say anything? He's our treasurer.
Yeah.
I thought it would be good to have him around.
Yeah. That's great.
He's
Thank
Rich
you.
Norwood, our treasurer. Okay, so commissioners, thank you so much for allowing us to come before you tonight because we're a growing organization. I think all of you know about Poolesville Seniors. We're a private nonprofit. I hate to say this, but Rich and I have been around since 2012.
Before you were seniors.
I served on the, and I think Rich did too, served on the steering committee and then the commission. And then finally, when we incorporated, and now we have a board of directors, and I'm the current president for the last 5 years. So, we are most grateful to all of you for allowing us to have this line item set aside of $25,000. We much appreciate that you've done that for us for the last few years. As I started to tell you, we are a growing organization, and we have expanded financial needs. So the numbers that I'm going to share with you tonight address previously non-budgeted expenses for this most recent calendar year. Okay, so in 12 months, we grew, all right? We grew in terms of size, as far as free events that we offer. So we are now at 727 free events.
Wow.
That's an increase of 208 from the previous calendar year. And we grew to 11,619 attendees. So, you know, we don't have 11,000 people, but we have about 300 who keep coming back over and over again. We have some people who come like 20 times a month to our events.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so that's an increase of 2,983 additional patrons. No, it's not in the documentation that you received because I found that information out after I submitted. But just to let you know, that's a big number, right? And it takes a lot to run an organization like this. We have classes that meet weekly, twice monthly, and in a couple of cases, we have social events that meet quarterly. So we had this like big Motown event, a dance party, and we had, over 100 people come to that. And we paid $1,000 in expenses for that. And we have another one coming up in April. And we have a lot of ways that we try to increase participation and funds. So to fund this additional program expenses, we had instructor costs. So we brought in 2 new classes. We have one that's conducted entirely in a chair. This class meets twice monthly. And we've tapped into this population that we previously hadn't, which is people who are less mobile and can't get around. And we offered it at night, and we didn't know how that would go, but we're almost outgrown the space that we've been in for that program. So we have instructor costs totaling, what is it? Not $4,910 this year, and that's an increase of $2,110 from the previous year. Then we have room rental costs, right? So we keep growing this program, so we have to find new and larger spaces to accommodate like between 20 and 30 patrons who are coming to some of these classes. And you encounter this situation where the spaces that we've used in the past and have these providers have been so kind to us, allowing us to do it for free, but because of our such heavy usage, now we have to pay fees. So we have one space that just started charging us $50 every time we come in there. We have another one that uses a two-tier system, whether we're meeting day or night, and they charge us either $25 or $40 a class. So it adds up, right? So we had this year $7,080 in room rental costs, and that's an increase of $4,080 from the previous year. So if you go through all of this, you'll see that these non-budgeted items totaled $8,190. But let me tell you a little bit about the fundraising that we do. So we raised this year, we have an individual campaign, we have an auction coming up, February 14th through the 23rd. Make sure you look for it. It's going to be online, so you can sign in as many times as you want. And we also have a corporate component of our fundraising. And so far this year, we've raised $35,110 with our expected goal of $33,000. And because we had that extra $2,000, we're not asking you to fund everything that we do. We're asking for these additional items that are expensive for us because it hasn't been budgeted and we have all these other expenses as well. And we're trying to keep pace with the demand that our patrons are asking of us. So we're asking you all for a total of $6,190. More than the $25,000 that you have already respectfully set aside for us. So if you have questions, please feel free.
Commissioners, anybody? Feel free.
I don't have questions. I just want to say, wow, you guys do so much.
That lady over there, she's
Unstoppable.
She's a past gold medal senior pickleball Olympian. And she's our development director. And she gets so much credit for what I have been able to present to you in words that she puts in the hours
You guys have
to make it
developed a
possible.
robust senior community center program without a senior center.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
somehow
well
we've been able
done.
to do it.
Yeah,
It just
well done.
grows year over year. So we would much appreciate your consideration. Bill, did you want to add anything?
No, just that, I guess you could say we're victims of our own success. Adding people and we keep adding programs.
And if we don't get a community center soon, I don't know what happens if we outgrow the spaces that are even available to us. I don't know if that's something that the commission has ever had a chance to think about or has any ideas on how that would help us.
Which spaces are you using to rent?
All right, so right now we're using Spear Hall at Poolesville Presbyterian Church. We use churches, basically. We're using the Methodist Church and St. Peter's. And today we had a digital skills class at the library. Randy Davis, he's coming out, we do a lot of cultural programs as well. He's coming out, the publisher of the Monocle, he's coming out on Thursday at 1:30?
Yep.
And he's going to be at Historic Medley at the John Poole House and doing a reenactment of John Poole.
And a lot of the programming is during the day, I take it?
We do, well, before we used to be exclusively daytime, but we have some of these exercise classes that we've started introducing at night, and some of them are really catching on. That's why, I'm
No,
sorry.
I was wondering, no, that's great. I think, I want to commend you for all that you've been, I've watched you all grow over the years.
Yeah, it's
And I know you and I've had conversations, so
pretty,
the
yeah,
growth has
it's
been.
phenomenal. And we appreciate you coming to our
I've
gala. Our
attended.
gala's coming up on the
Yeah.
15th. Now, it's not a fundraiser, but it's a heck of a good time. So we hope you can
So
join
looking at
us.
some of that space also for your activities that are not during the day, like your evening ones, have you all looked at maybe renting space from some of the local schools, like going through ICB and see if they have a comparable rate or cheaper rate?
All right, so I haven't done it. I
We
don't know
could- we
if,
could
he's our
certainly-
program
yeah, I
chair.
could certainly see if Beth could look into that. We have a program manager who is one of the reasons that everything has expanded so well and so smoothly.
Yeah, that's just a suggestion. I think that for some of your evening programs, you might even get a good rate, or at least see what the rate is for some of those those evening things you want to do.
Right.
Because usually the space is because you have the Poolesville Elementary, you have John Poole, and you have the high school. I don't know if the high school is leasing out space or not, but I think I know the middle school and the elementary school will.
Do you know who the contact is and stuff?
We go through the
Yeah.
The ICB.
within the school system.
Any other?
Good luck with that. Maria, for the new guys on the board here, give us a kind of a bigger picture. How much money is raised? How much money
Okay.
is spent?
Okay,
And how much funds come in from, say, the municipal town of Poolesville versus what you didn't get from the county as well when requested? Round number it, it's fine.
Okay, so here, how do we do this? All right, so I can tell you for fiscal year FY '24, we raised from the three components that I mentioned earlier, 61,000, okay? We're trying to meet that this year. We haven't done the auction yet. We're trying to raise $14,000 at this auction, and so far, we've raised like $10,700 towards our $15,000 goal for the corporate component. So we hope to meet that. Our expenses overall, what do we have? We have program.
Right.
We have administrative, right? Our budget total is what, 115? 115? 115,000 is our total budget.
Got
All
it.
right, what were the other questions?
No,
I already
that's okay.
forgot.
I just wanted to say that, it's really nice to have, and it's a shame that in Poolesville, that we almost have to be self-sufficient in running these programs. And the way that we were turned down on the last grant, our last grant
Yeah.
proposal directly from our Poolesville seniors was shameful in my mind. And the county knows this too.
Right.
They really blew it.
Yeah.
And it nothing gets my goat worse than we always have to pay in order to get somebody to do something. And there's other municipalities and other programs that we saw in that grant, the grant spreadsheet. It was, I'll share it. It's terrible.
It's
And there
like 55 agencies that received the funds, but it was, over 300 or something that applied, and there were about 100 that were like us, small, I guess, who, thankfully, because of the county executive, that we received at least 1 year of funds.
Yes.
But we don't know, we're still in flux, and we don't know if we can count on funds for FY '26 or '27.
Right, and we know that obviously there's a budget issue at both the county and state level, but this is, again, it's annoying that we don't receive what we request within reason, because, and we run the programs too. It's not like we've asked the county to run the programs or supply the space or anything like that.
I think
So-
we're up to like 11, and we're soon to bring on another board member, so maybe 12 volunteer board members one full staff person, and one 7 hours a week graphic designer. Those are
You guys do a
our
great
paid.
job. And I'm
Minus
totally
these
appreciative of it.
benefits.
You guys know I support you every which way we can.
And
I'm
we
sure
do
our board does as
appreciate
well.
that very much.
And even if some of the members aren't eligible to be, myself, Sarah, not eligible to be in the
It's
seat.
50 plus.
Oh, it's 50 plus. Okay, never mind that, Sarah.
We'll take you any day.
Okay, thank you for that.
I'll be there. Sunday.
Yeah, but it's a shame. But we again, we really appreciate how you move the money and fundraise. And don't come just with your hand out and expect the town's taxpayers to pick up the tab. You guys do a great job on that, and we appreciate it.
We're all taxpayers ourselves.
Yeah, yep.
We can appreciate that.
I'm curious, because it seems like you have a growing base, right? And that's
Base.
part of the growing expense, so I'm thinking I'm missing the explanation of why this is just a 1-year thing. Why is it gonna be better next year? Why won't they become, wondering if we shouldn't change our approach permanently,
Okay. So,
not to just for a 1-year exception.
all right, so what would you suggest,
No,
sir?
I'm asking, why is this year different than it will be next year? Why do we think that next year is gonna be better?
Well, I just want to say that long-term, the plan is to have the community center where the county actually provides they pay someone to do what they are doing, to do all the organizing, to have a space to have classes, to do all the program planning.
Which will reduce
Right
your
now, as a town and as a community, we're doing all of that. So it is, in some ways, a stopgap until the county steps up and provides it, but
But also, in that vein, when the county was coming around and doing the program of request,
Yeah.
and they met with us,
Yeah.
they had told us that they thought that we were probably better arbiters of the decision-making of bringing people in and what it is that people would want. So they asked for our continued work with them, yeah. So I don't know if that's changed, because that was a few years ago, right, when we met with them?
I mean, it sounds like we don't know exactly how the two will merge. Once the community center is built, once the county is also providing services. When we did tours of some of the other community centers, they said they often work with other existing organizations for their programming. So I imagine there will be some type of collaboration.
Right, and typically what would happen, you would have the local stakeholders' feedback, working with the person at the center who might be a center director when they do program development. It's like each community is different, and so the tendency would be to have a program coordinator, but looking at what programs fit the community that it basically serves. But going back to what Commissioner Butt was asking, because I know we have you all, correct me if I'm wrong, Wade, we have you as a line item in our
Line
budget.
item
That's
for
exactly. That's the exact
25,000.
issue. There used to be a
Right.
grant several years ago. We made them a line item a couple years ago.
So then each year, when we get ready to go through that budget, we'll look at the request that's come in. And so the request is an increase in the line item budget for $6,190.
$190, that's
then-
correct.
But I don't think they're asking for 1 year. They were just saying the total of 1 year was 8,190. And so you're asking to increase that line item budget from 25,000 to 31,190.
We'll take it, yes.
I mean, that's the
We'll-
ask.
If that's, yeah,
Right.
if you're able,
But you're not asking just to do it for 1 year. You're saying, can we increase the line item budget?
we would appreciate that.
Does that mean that next year, where we have the same conversation based on what their expenses are above 25,000 that they can't cover?
No, so then when we get to our
It
budget.
goes on now, if we approve this, it would be 31,000 next year when we look at it.
So you're looking at like a
And I would
25%
hate 3190 is a terrible number to put in the budget.
Yeah, we would probably.
35 is fine, 33 is fine, 32, but
Right.
So I look at it, I look at it more of a percentage increase. I mean, you're looking at like a 22% from 25 to 30, 32 essentially. You know, is that going to be sustainable for 26 and 27, since you just said that, you know, you don't have anything, you know, for.
At some
Trying to be
point,
proactive
right,
and not
right.
reactive?
So at some point, we're going to outgrow our space, so we won't be able to
Right.
add any more programs.
Correct. So
So I don't
it'll
know
be-
if you want to put a cap at something, of course, we understand that. We're
I'm
just
spitballing. I'm just
saying,
trying,
yeah. However you want to look at it.
So we'll get it covered when we have our budget discussion.
My big question is
And
more
also-
mechanical, and I think I've got the answer. It's not, it's not a questioning of whether the money was deserved or not.
correct.
Right, yeah, it's mechanical. I got it. I get the question. And it's good, the presentation's good. This pretty much establishes a baseline as far as this year goes, as a proposal coming in from the Poolesville seniors. It's something we'll deal with on our budget work session. Wade, I'm sure we'll pencil in a rounder number than 3160, whatever it is. He'll pencil in a bigger number. We will have that discussion when we have our preliminary budget meeting, and then we'll.
You can
Well,
do
we appreciate-
199.
You're being a
Do
good
199,
steward.
that'd be
I love the precision. I hate it. In our business, we call them clothesline numbers when somebody throws just a round number. We need $50,000. Oh, I like a nice precise number. We'll figure out the rounding of that, and then we'll go on from there. But you guys should know, again, we're deeply appreciative of everything you do. And then we will take that into consideration when we get into our budget timeframe. And also, too, year to year, this does matter, what kind of funding comes in from the county and how this works. So
Yes.
they sense a weakness in us, like if we continue to fund things, the county could decide, well, Poolesville's doing a great job of that.
We need to give them money.
Yeah, so, but that's just not how it's going to work, and
We haven't decided we're going to let them off the hook, though.
Good.
At the
Thank you.
county.
no.
No,
Yeah.
we have
We need the
hopefully,
tax dollars back.
yeah, we're hoping to get their ear by the end of this month.
Good. That's fine. Please stay on it.
So,
Let me know if we
yeah.
can help in any way.
We will.
All right, you gang, everybody, Tookie,
All right.
Uncle Rich, everybody, good seeing you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thanks, guys. Dave, even you.
Bill
Dave,
Moran.
thanks for coming up, buddy. Appreciate it. Dave came all the way from Florida for this presentation. He looks cold. All right, gang, thank you again for the presentation. We appreciate it. And again, we will be talking about this at budget time, everybody, but thank you for doing that for us. All right, fair access, access report and budget request. Link, you want to come on up?
Hello, I'm Link Hoeing, and Chair of the committee, and I live on 19430 Bellsville Road, Bellsville, Maryland. And that's probably interesting to you, because I don't live in Poolesville, and that's one of the reasons the Fair Access Committee is called the Fair Access Committee for the Western County. We're not just about Poolesville, for the entire western area, Barnesville, Bellsville, Dickerson, the entire area that we are trying to represent, so. You've got the proposal, so I probably don't need to go, and if you had a chance to read it. Every year, we do a budget proposal, but you also do a rationale as to why we think the proposal is needed, and an annual report, so you get an idea of what we did in the previous year. So if you had a chance to look at that, I think you'll see. Just quick overview of a couple of points. The budget request is for $95,000 for the work of the committee. This is pretty much the same budget we've had for the last 3 years. When we started the committee, it was actually $80-some thousand in 2018, so we've gone up a little bit, but not really that much over the years. If you consider the return on investment of what we have gotten back for every dollar we spent in the committee, it literally is true, just to take the high school as an example, that we've brought back $240 into the community for every dollar we spent for the committee, so. And I'm not including the other projects that we've got, including getting the community center in the budget this year, which is $15 million. $230,000 for WUMCO for a line item for healthcare. There are a lot of things like that that I didn't mention, but it's in the budget. The budget lays out what the committee's main task will be coming for the fiscal year. Our primary objectives this year are to ensure the construction of a new community center with a clinic, and we hope to move that up to this coming fiscal year. I want to stress that this is the only community center, once it gets built, that will have a clinic in it. And so we've done, this is an example of the partnership we have with the groups in this area, because WUMCO, UPN, the seniors as well, we've talked to all of them about what do you need in this community center, and over again, healthcare came up. And even though WUMCO's doing a fantastic job with their mobile dental health and healthcare, they just can't do the kind of work you can do when you have a fully staffed room and physicians and that kind of thing. So we need that community center. Ensure funding is included in both the capital and operating budget for the county to get the pool bowl installed and hopefully operational within an 18-month timeframe. So we need both capital money there and operating money, and we're going to have to testify on both. The budget process for the county, Sarah mentioned the CIP came out, that's the capital budget. The operating budget comes out in April, so we usually testify in February on the capital budget and then the operating budget in April. We usually try to get other groups to support us. Last year, we got a student who testified for the high school about why a community center is important. The PASC testified, and so did WUMCO. So we're going to try to do that again this year. We're going to continue to push for the end to the White's Ferry impasse, as you already heard. Ensure the $200,000 line item in the county's budget for WUMCO's healthcare program is made permanent. It's in there now, but there are really severe budget problems this year, and the county's made it clear the state, as you know, has serious budget problems. So we want to try to get that in there as a permanent thing, so we don't have to go through every year and fight back to get that money in there. And then finally, work with the state and county to develop better data about the Western County visitor tourist economy and work with key leaders and agencies to develop better strategies to support agritourism, farmers, and our small businesses, historic sites, and recreational areas. One thing we've already done in that regard is we met with the state legislative D15 delegation. They're introducing a legislative proposal that would fund a study like this. The state would fund it, so that would be a good step forward. A key part of our budget is focused on three things you'll see in the budget. Generating media of all kinds to keep our area and its needs central to the minds of key policymakers. Getting support from our community via our email and contact programs. And you saw that in there. We had 4 muster campaigns last year. In some cases, we got upwards of 300 emails. And believe it or not, very few people actually contact the council on a regular basis. There are a few people that do that, but most people don't. So when they get 300 emails, they sit up and take notice. And that's our community speaking, not just us, and we need their support. And then finally, sponsoring events like the Western County Economic Forum we had a few years back, our annual breakfast, and the holiday event. Those all get policymakers out here to see us and give us a chance to interact with them and make our points. And you were at the breakfast this year, you see that we, I think, make a good job of connecting with them and get the points across. We know the county and state budgets are tight this year, and I'm never going to say never. I'm not going to ever give up. I don't care if they have a tight budget or not. We're going to keep asking. That's why we're here, and that's why we need the budget to support what we're doing. The only final point I make is that this is the budget, but what really gets this committee working is the volunteer work. Sarah mentioned Nancy Kidd this year did an effort to make sure we had a good volunteer effort to try to make sure we had people appointed to advisory committees. That sounds like it's arcane, but the truth is the county has 45 advisory committees, and they do have an impact. Some of them actually submit letters, they submit recommendations, so if we can get some of our members on those committees, it's important. That volunteer work in the committee is vital, and white papers that we submit, we do that through volunteer work, we do emails, and one of the ways that we actually help the town, besides just getting these facilities and programs, is we also advertise all the time to county leaders, state delegation, the governor, lieutenant governor, about events going on in Poolesville. So they know about our lighting ceremony. They know about the Friday in the Commons. And we've had a few of them come out here because we contacted them and say, hey, by the way, don't forget this great opportunity to meet local citizens. So we see it, part of our job is also advertising Poolesville and the Western County. So that's basically it. Thank you.
Link, go ahead. Questions for Link, you guys? I mean, I think all of us know what the Fair Access Committee is up to. I appreciate the commissioners and their cooperation and working hand in hand with this group that we've put together in terms of advocates. They're not co-commissioners. They are definitely a body of the town that has worked very hard to work with us to put something together pretty special. I also want to say too, Link, you know, you didn't emphasize it enough, and you're just being humble, but the work you've done personally has been amazing. You've been our leader on that. If you move back into town, hopefully you'll hop into my chair one of these days
I'm
again.
looking seriously at that.
Next door.
I need to downsize.
Looking next door. I know, I got it. But I also want to say too that you have to, I think that one of the things we've gone from completely zero to a must-do is I don't think there's too many other more prominent county events for elected officials than our Poolesville Day breakfast, and then Poolesville Day, and the establishment of the good vibes of Poolesville Day. When it's an election season, you saw who was here last time, our future state senator, our lieutenant governor, highest level participation for the most part across the board. And that is where we get a chance to put our best foot forward. The budget has been laid out by Link, how valuable it is, how much it is, but I'm not sure that there's too much more that we do that's more important than getting those guys together in a feel-good about Poolesville. Again, I know I started off with some humble beginnings on that breakfast, and it's turned into really one of the most must-do county elected official events that there is. So county and state elected official events. So thank you for that. And, proudly, we've funded the Fair Access Committee all these years, and, we're going to talk about it at budget season, but this makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Always.
All right. Do we have someone here to make the post-prom grant request, or are they online?
They're not online. Maggie let her know, Andrea Stokes, she's the one that turned it in.
Sure.
There was a turnover in the committee, and so I think there was maybe a loss and really she had to come tonight, but Maggie said she had let her know.
See you, Dave.
I'll go ahead and walk us
guys.
through that if you'd like. Okay.
Yeah, okay, please do. Thanks. And Kevin, I'm sorry to keep Kevin, you've been waiting
We
this
can
whole
bring
time.
Kevin in right now, actually.
Yeah, Kevin, why don't you come on board, buddy? Sorry since I didn't know town staff was going to make that presentation. Kevin Schramm is here for the Poolesville Day Committee report and budget request. Hey, Kevin.
Hello.
You're
Thank
on,
you
buddy.
for putting me on.
Yep, you're on, man. We can hear you.
I have to say,
All right,
real
great.
quick, hang on, Kevin. Kevin said he couldn't make it because it was too cold in Poolesville.
You got that long drive.
But to Kevin's
believe
credit,
it's
he will stand in the rain and march.
2025, Right?
Yeah. Yeah. You tell him you were here, Kevin, for that Hurricane Poolesville Day, though, weren't you? Out there running
And
it.
someone was not.
Touche.
So moving
Someone was
on, what you
down
got?
south.
Yeah. All right, buddy, it's all yours.
All right. As always, thank you guys for your continued support for Poolesville Day. As y'all know, Poolesville Day Committee is a group of volunteers, about 20 members strong. We have a board of about 4. We have a president, myself, vice president, Kathy Bassett, our treasurer, Krish, and our secretary, Melanie Scholes. When the weather's great, the day is great. And we had a great day last year. Poolesville Day is the epitome and the epicenter, the grand day for everything. And it's just a lot of fun. This year we're asking for $10,000 less. So this will help your decision making easier with the senior group. I sent you a letter. I hope you guys had a chance to read that. I'm open to hear any questions.
Kevin, we had a good conversation about this. Give us a little more background. I know you put it in letter form, but who knows from the public who's actually listening. Give us a little background on the reason why you can request $10,000 less.
So, Poolesville Day cost is about $55,000 per year. We get about $10,000 to $15,000 per year from sponsors, and about $10,000 to $20,000 per year from vendors. As you know, last year, 2023, not 2024, we had a special weather event. As a result, we gave all the vendors free booth spots. And so we increased our ask last year by $35,000. I mean, by $10,000 to $35,000. Poolesville is such a great community. And the sponsorships we received increased. We had over 40 sponsors that really helped our budget. So we're in good financial shape. We feel we have enough funds now to put on Poolesville Day, along with a $25,000 gift from the town.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You guys get that. So congrats on the success of your sponsorships. You have a return this year for vendor funding, which we had to give away some spaces, I know, from the previous year. So that makes sense for us too. And the $10,000 less returns you to some levels of years gone by. We're not necessarily expecting you to do it. I think the expectation of the commissioners is that Poolesville Day remain the grandest celebration of our town, across the board, top to bottom, from beginning to end. Again, we've morphed into it, and we appreciate the teamwork with the Poolesville Day Committee to having the breakfast and working that into your show. Thank you for that. We've also talked, you and I had a discussion about some increased security measures that we've discussed potentially for this next upcoming year, something that I know the committee always has good discussions on. You want to elaborate on that in any way?
Yeah, so as a result of the year before with the inclement weather, we decided it'd be a great idea if we developed a emergency plan. We've never had that in the 30 years of Poolesville Day. So we worked with the police department, the fire department, and town officials to develop an emergency plan. And with recent events, such as in New Orleans or whatever, there's other concerns we need to think about aside from inclement weather. And so we want to have funds available in case we need to increase our security measures around the event. Maybe enhance our barricades, maybe increase the number of uniformed police presence, just to ensure we're taking care of all the people during the event.
You appreciate that. You guys, questions for Kevin on this?
No, not a question, but just a compliment. And so, Kevin, I just want to echo those compliments to you and your team for consistently putting on a great Poolesville Day. And I do like the fact that you're paying attention to the safety and security. We live in different days than years past, so I think that's very prudent to have that part of your discussion. And I would even say, as you have your uniformed officers, but even some of the undercovers, it's helpful.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. And it's more than the committee that makes this day possible. It's the whole town. It's the churches, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the booster clubs, the Lions clubs. Everyone together makes this day so special.
Yeah.
But remember, everything rises and falls on leadership, so someone has to take the lead to pull all these other pieces together.
Yeah, we appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, you guys. Starts with you guys, the leaders.
We're just elected, sir.
Elected and volunteers.
Yeah.
That's why you've earned the title, president of the.
Brian and Alan want credit, and they've been in office for 3 months.
Can I get a cart next year like you did?
Yeah.
Hey, can you get a card? I love that. All right, yeah, one
Brian
card.
and I want a cart next year. We don't want to walk.
You want a cart with those shovels behind them horses?
Yeah.
You know what? I could do that. That doesn't bother me.
That's funny. Good stuff. All right, Kevin, any questions for Kevin, you guys, on this? Good presentation, Kevin. We'll definitely take it in. Obviously, it's a very generous budget request from the committee. We realize we're not going to hold you to that every single year, but I think it's in recognition that you guys have done a great job both fundraising and putting yourselves in a position to give us a great Poolesville Day year in, year out. So we thank you for that, and you've done a heck of a job. And please let the committee know that we truly appreciate them and keeping everything together and doing a great job. You have a lot of people coming back, I would assume?
Oh, yes. Yep.
It's awesome.
As far as I know, all the members are returning, so we've had a good retention within our committee.
Yeah, great.
Good, solid group.
Yeah, they are indeed. Yeah, good job. Okay, town staff, anything for Kevin?
Nope.
Commissioners, anything else?
Nope.
No.
All right, Kevin, thanks. Well, you have an electric blanket on underneath that we can't see, or, what's the deal? Oh, no, stay there. Oh, it's a sweater, okay. Woo! Thought we're gonna have trouble there for a minute.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys for all you do.
All right, buddy, good stuff. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Thank you. Yep, very good. All right, gang, very good. Thanks, Kevin, for that. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Wade, you're going to lead us through the post-prom or Niles?
Yes. The post-prom, so the grant application is the same as it's been the last couple of years, $3,500. They're planning to have it at North Potomac Community Center. It'll be on May 16th, 2025, from 11 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. The funds are actually going to go for the rental space of the community center, which is $1,000. Bus transport students from post-prom to the party and possibly transport to PHS. I'm not sure why possibly, but that's $1,500. And then food for the students at the post-prom, if it was another $1,000. So that's what those funds would be portioned to.
How does that line up with previous requests?
Exactly the same.
That's what I thought. Okay, good. And it looks like, and again, you're right, they had a change in leadership, so I would imagine that they've got a plan to pull all this together. It's always tentative, I know, it's difficult because they have to judge, how many kids are going to go and
Where's
what's going to
prom
happen.
actually located? Like how far is this from where prom is happening?
Have you heard where prom is going to be held?
No.
Ed, come on, you got a student there.
Yeah, I know. I got one that's there. No,
You guys don't talk?
we know.
My
Yeah.
my kids have always done the post-prom parties, but not been really interested in prom.
Yeah, my kids didn't want
Yeah.
to go to the post
Yeah.
prom. I actually volunteered at post prom. I think it was last year. I think
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
stayed to 5 in the morning. Yeah.
I know the girl team usually
But-
cooks for the post-prom.
Really?
We have in years, yeah.
Breakfast?
We haven't, yeah,
No dinner
Poolesville.
food.
no dinner after when you come back.
Oh,
from-
dinner
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know they didn't do it last year, obviously, because of construction, and
It was,
again,
I guess I volunteered
This year
the
it's
year
not.
before.
Yeah, if it's not at the high school, they can't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Next
Girl
year-
team has to be at the high school.
yep.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
curious why are they moving it from the high school to the community center over in Potomac?
Instructions?
Yes.
no, but you would think,
the gym.
Yeah,
I
we
know
just
you
need to get that gym,
Don't have a gym.
Is it because I wonder if is it because of the construction?
it is.
And then I wonder how that's going to affect turnout, because if you have a lot, I just wonder where's the hotel going to be that they do the prom, and then the distance. But I guess that's.
would you mind asking them,
I
Wade,
mean,
when you
that's
go
for
back
them
to
to kind of figure out, I
Yeah.
guess, but it's.
Based on doing a little bit of research, it looks like they haven't decided where prom is going to be yet. So that might play into whatever decision is going on.
Well, regardless, if we do budget for it and it doesn't work out, we're not going to have to allocate the funds. We want the kids to be safe.
Right.
And do they need us to have a early allocation for this, or they're operating off of last year's money is operating this
Exactly
year's
right. And
post-prom?
typically, 2 years ago, I think there was something happened with post-prom, and we actually didn't spend all the funds either way. So it just goes
Yeah.
back into the general fund coffers.
Okay.
if we
Right.
don't spend it.
Okay, so then we don't need to take action pre-budget meeting on this. This is just for our consideration then for.
Absolutely, as part of the whole budget process. And
Right,
I will
okay.
reach out and make sure that they keep us updated on whatever happens and the plan comes together.
Great. Thank you for that. Anything else from the commissioners?
Nothing.
I think I'm good. Thank you.
All right, very good. So, old business, last meeting, we introduced resolution, was it a resolution or was just,
information.
it was information on the proposed water and sewer rates, now appears as resolution 001-25. And you can give us more background, but the purpose is we're going to be setting a public hearing tonight.
That is the ultimate goal tonight. Yeah, so at last meeting, we did went over the water rate study as well as staff recommendations for what those new rates may look like, both 3 different categories, which is out of the usual what we've had before, and then increases for the next 3 years to be preset every April 1st. It's not written in the resolution yet. It's something we have to discuss, and so we might discuss it now. But what we want to do is for the fiscal year, which starts in July, we want those bills to be at the new rate. So there's actually a 3-month lag in the bills themselves, because every 3 months they come out. So April 1st, on the next 3 years, will be the 5% increase that we're looking at. Okay? And then the resolution, you said, this is the next step in the process. We'll have to set a public hearing, which we can do for February 3rd, and then take in public input from that point, and then we take this back up again on the 21st, maybe, I think it is,
It will
of
be the-
February for a potential vote and to move forward with it, depending on
Okay,
the.
so tonight
outcome of
we
the
are
public hearing.
just passing a resolution to set a hearing.
Yes, yes. And so we've also done some
Setting a public hearing.
public informational stuff. We've, rate study is on the website. We've put out some news flashes. We're going to be advertising in the Monocle, and then Link also has written an article that's going to go in the Monocle. So
Great.
trying to push it out there and make sure everybody has a good visual and understanding of what we're trying to do here.
And you guys, I'm sorry, I didn't send you the meeting prelude that I put out on Facebook today. I didn't send it to you on email, but it's all on there too. So I'm sorry about that, but you can find it online. All right, very good. So then we need to set a public hearing. I'm sure you have the date in mind for us.
February 3rd.
Got it. So we need to have a motion to set a public hearing for Resolution 001-25 water sewer rates for February 3rd.
I motion that we set a hearing date for February 3rd, or is it that I motion that we pass the resolution 001-25 to set a public hearing date for February 3rd?
You're right the first time.
Oh, darn. All right. I motion that we set a public hearing date for February 3rd, 2025.
For Resolution 001-25 water sewer rates. Yes, motion has been made by Sarah, second.
I'll second the motion.
Second from Ed. Anybody else want to comment on that? You gonna be able to make that meeting? Okay, good. Then all in favor of approving that motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? None? All right, February 3rd, public hearing for that. Thank you guys for the preparation on it. Town managers report, you've got some things to talk about.
Sure, let's jump on the, we have the water and wastewater capacity reports. And the wastewater capacity report is actually required by MDE, so we can track it. These are both very good planning tools for us to be able to track our wastewater capacity as well as our water capacity. We'll start out with the wastewater one. And the front page really kind of breaks it down on both of them. They're broken down the same way. There's a 3-year rolling average that we use, and this is to be able to kind of smooth out the transitional or seasonal transitions that happen as far as rainfall or extra use or extra flow that comes into the wastewater plant. Our 3-year rolling average is actually 525,000 gallons per day. We have a permit for 750,000 gallons per day, and there's a 100,000 gallon per day buffer that is placed in there because of inflow and infiltration. So really, 650 is our real number that we want to target and not ever go over. Also, I have in here, part of the requirement from MDE is to identify any developments, whether they are online, in flux, in the pipeline moving forward, identify what could be out there in the out years as far as, could use up that capacity. And we have them all listed in here, the ones that have been approved, and then really one not approved is the Bricken property, and I'm sure they're going to be coming in and asking for it anytime soon because they've gone through the whole planning process, and it's the last thing they have to do before they get their approval. Right now, there's currently for the water side of it, there's a recommendation out there not to give any allocations out until we work out a few issues, and I'll get onto that with the water report when we get to that. So on the front page, you can see the net available wastewater capacity is 165,850 gallons per day. And this is for an annual average. If you go through the packet, the second page is exactly what's on the front page. It looks a lot different because it's in MDE language, which we calculate everything up by the million gallons per day. And so it's just written differently. But it's in a format that MD likes, and this is what they have. Also, as part of the permit, they require us to take a look at precipitation and how that influences the inflow at the wastewater plant. And you can see we had major improvements over the years. If you look back over the last 5 years, we put millions of dollars into our sewer system by relining and things. But we still do have some I&I. And, regular months, our lowest month that we had was 10 million gallons per day in November. Our highest month was in January. And if you take a look at the rainfall, we had 6.7 inches of rainfall in January. We had nothing in November, or 2 inches in November, but we were in a drought at that point. So it does show you that we still do have some I&I out there, but it is so much more minimal than it was. It's really under control, much better than it was. But it's an ongoing thing, and we always have an account for it. We are always looking at our infrastructure. And then they ask about any improvements, and of course, we are finishing up the wastewater plant, the denitrification system, and we have ongoing sewer line monitoring. We have 5 different meters out there that monitor the sewage flow. We also have pump stations that monitor sewage, so we can tell if we have a spike in one area. When we have rain events, it's all real time, so we can see exactly what problems are occurring or starting to occur. So any questions on that one? Okay, these have both been approved by the Planning Commission. They just have to be shown to you guys.
Okay.
On the water side of it, you can see it's a little bit different. We have 32,000 850 gallons per day available on water, so it's a little bit tighter. And that's just because our permits, it just identifies it at 650,000 gallons per day. We do use 325 gallons per day, where the state uses 250, so we do try to be a little bit more conservative. In actuality, most houses, the first couple of years, they're going to use anywhere from 275 to 300 gallons per day on an annual average. After that, especially with the new appliances, we find out they're more like 250 to 225 a lot of times. It's outside watering in the summertime when it spikes it up and messes the average all up. And again, you can see that the 3-year rolling average for that one was 558,000 gallons per day. And a lot of times, it's the spikes in the summertime that really get us. So the recommendations I talked about from the Planning Commission, not to allocate any further water out at this time, are a couple of things. Well 4 and 14 are still offline. They're offline due to PFAS. They were able to be brought online. And those were actually constructed to be serving the Westerly Grove subdivision that's online already. So that's one reason. We want to get those back up and running. Now that the EPA has set that 4 parts per trillion for the PFAS, we have some other wells, 6 other wells, that do have just barely over that 4 parts per trillion. And we have till 2029 to actively pursue some type of treatment mechanisms for that. And part of my other report is to let you know that we've just submitted all the paperwork for the grants for $5 million to actively pursue that presentation that we showed you with tying the wells together. So that's in the pipeline at least. And we also are looking at a water capacity plan. So we know that Kathy Mim in 2019, I believe, she did a report, and it had looked at our flows, looked at some climate change predictions, different models, and she came up with, we had enough water to support the 6,500 population. But then recently, Pat Hammond, which is the previous state hydrologist, he came out and he did a report, and he used worst case scenarios from the river basin flows, climate change models, and then aquifer models, used all 3 of those and came up with what we might be short on our water. And we should try to locate some additional wells to bring on for redundancy. They won't give us more permit capacity, but you could bring redundant wells online. And right now, we have a permit for 650,000 gallons per day, but we can produce about 1 million gallons per day with the redundancy we have in place. So that's important also. So to kind of break the tie between those 2 hydrologists, we're working with the state now. We talked to them, and they actually sent them Pat Hammond's report because they didn't even have it yet. And they reviewed it for about a month. Then we had a meeting with them, and they said, well, we're not going to change anything. We're not, this report was kind of out of the context of how we do things, and we recognize some of his things, but not all of his things. And so they tasked Kathy Mim and us with putting together a capacity report, and that's it. Been completed. In October, it was completed. It's back to MDE, and they're reviewing it right now, so we're kind of waiting for an answer back from them, because it's the state's water at the end of the day. So a lot of things in flux with the water system, but that's where we are with it. So any questions with that?
I have a question, not necessarily related to the reports. I was just wondering, and Ed, maybe this comes to you in the committee, the Poolesville Green Committee. Are there programs that would help residents replace inefficient toilets, appliances with more water efficient? Like, we just replaced all of our toilets in our house 2 years ago or something with more water. The option where you have 2 different settings for flushing, so that you
Right.
have more water efficient.
The county did have some programs, and I'm not sure if they're
And I'm
still
still
active or
looking
not,
at,
but we can
I
certainly look
remember
that
them
up.
having them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Were you thinking of starting our own program, or were you?
No, I know that it is in everybody's best interest for us to help facilitate residents, being more water resource informed and using it more efficiently.
We do have things on our website that speaks to all that, but not a funding mechanism, so to speak.
Okay.
It almost looking like, as I'm listening to you, I think about what we do with energy, like energy appliances and how you can get certain tax benefits.
Right, even if it's just helping
that
people
is-
be aware that these things are out there and pointing people in the right direction.
And I think in general, and MCA had some great stuff on their website. They talked about water conservation last year, as we asked for voluntary restrictions. Well, too, being offline with things. That partnering up with them may be, advantage to us.
It has to be communicated in such a way that it doesn't cause unnecessary alarm. All right, but I think, we got some of those toilets too, and it's, let's say bring the water bill down. That our water conservation in our house.
That's what motivates people.
Is don't waste the water unless you're paying for it.
All right.
Right, but you have even that something as the more modern toilets, you got the two different options.
Right.
Right, and then you look at, in terms of, I'm just thinking, what are some things that benefit water conservation, but what are some ways to pay more attention to how you use water in your home, especially as we go through and we're talking about the water rates, right? And I think I would even push more so, how are you, for those who might be concerned about water usage in your house and how that affects your budget, I think also look at how do you use water in your house? Are your kids taking 45-minute showers when they could take a 10-minute shower?
I think there's a lot of awareness, really, that Wade has mentioned, Wade and I both, that when they put out the voluntary water restrictions, the town reacted like that. Water usage dropped tremendously.
Yeah.
We are able to use less water.
So it's really just awareness that we need to be doing that a little bit more often.
Yeah, communications.
Yeah, communicating awareness, and these are some concrete, nothing that's going to really compromise your quality of life, but there's things that people might take for granted. There are some different ways to do it.
Just remember too, you guys, sitting behind this desk comes with additional weird responsibilities where you have to balance out when you're responding to residents, the idea that we have a growth period coming up that's going to be very obvious to all of our residents, yet we're asking people to potentially conserve water.
Right.
And there's
We
a
have
direct
we have a temporary
correlation.
situation though, right, with our wells being down and the remediation that's going on.
Right, and add that factor in as well.
Yeah.
But there's going to be, there's always an anti-growth sediment out there. And you have to be prepared that, as very visibly, we're building houses in Poolesville, and we're going to be potentially asking people to conserve water at times. So it's just part of the mix of.
Asking people to save money.
Right.
I would go with that too.
But surely when you look at the data, you could take a look, like when we called for the water restrictions, we were pumping 750,000 gallons per day of fresh water into the system. Wastewater plant was only receiving 395,000 gallons of it.
Yeah.
That tells you right there. That's
Watering.
a lot of water out there outside, water in plants, washing cars, whatever it is. But
So keep that in mind when we hear that, hear the response from our residents that, it's a lot of it is about water that's not being introduced back into our wastewater treatment plant. It's water that's being used for watering, et cetera. Makes sense. I'm just letting you know as a person that, yeah,
That's why my kids are in college.
Yeah.
Save half the water.
Yeah.
Right, 3/4.
There you go. Exactly. All right, guys. Good. Thank you. Is that it?
nope. Sorry.
That's fine. Dude, it's your birthday we're delaying.
But yeah, there's more.
The skate park project is almost complete.
Oh, okay.
But
that's great.
what I wanted to show you, so we did an expansion. It was about 6,000 square foot for the skate park itself, and that cost $200,000. We have a $180,000 grant that we paid for it. Going through the stormwater process with Montgomery County, we had to put in bioswales to treat it, and we had to put this pipe in, the overflow pipe, to the storm drain system out in the street, and you can see we hit rock. When we say there's a thin mantle in Poolesville, you can see it right there in the rock. They had a Ramho in there. So it's a tune of about $70,000 more to mitigate this stormwater treatment system on top of the park expense.
Saw you guys there the other day.
Yep,
Yeah.
Wow.
pounding away at it, yep. So, have to do it, and, but that was amazing. I saw that picture, I was like,
Yeah.
show you guys, that's Poolesville. And it's in different places, you'll find it, and some places it's not, so.
Not as red as I would have expected it.
No,
Yeah.
and so we have there's really a red rock that's a shale that breaks up fairly easy in town. There's also the gray stone they have in here.
Wow.
So, anyways, just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, yeah.
And then everybody's been working, supervisors and administrators, on putting the budget together and still working on that, so. That's it. Thank you.
So I can't remember which one of you guys came up with the idea of being putting a heavier charge on Verizon and the various responsibilities of, like, we had the low-hanging wires.
Yeah.
And then we also had that mess at, that's down there by Fisher Avenue by my
Correct.
house.
Yep.
This is just an awful mess. I just sent Niles an updated picture of it. But I will say that town staff and I got a great response from, it was Marilyn Balcom's office, right?
Well, yes, well, and for Verizon headquarters.
And for
in New York
Verizon
also.
headquarters, that said, as of, so we got the note on like the 15th, right? January 15th.
15th.
That said, they were pleased to let us know that as of January 19th, it had been repaired.
Oh.
And it had changed. So, I know, so we need that thing.
Forward thinking, right?
Right, we need this time capsule, the space machine, to be able to do that at town. We asked how we could figure out how to borrow that. Anyway, I just sent a picture to Niles of it again, and it's, it's god awful, right? And it's not just an eyesore, but I feel like it's dangerous on top of it.
And
It's a hazard.
especially once there's going to be people living in, right behind it.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing to point out, that there's going to be houses there.
So one of you guys said, why don't we, let's take another one. I think it was you, Alan. So the one they've taken care of.
Yeah, the other one where it was hanging down, and it had been since April, when I reported it to the county.
Yeah,
That was a cable company.
Which
but
was
the
the
same
cable
office
company.
that
But it's
controls
the same office.
right. It was the low-hanging fruit, as it
Yeah,
would be.
yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
But that
So
was
they have not
resolved.
repaired that one by,
No, nothing's happened to
No,
it
it's
yet.
not been
But
touched.
again, the time machine told us that on the 19th, and that's passed.
That's right,
Yep.
yeah.
So,
now I'm going to have.
Back to the future.
yeah, Back to the Future. So, we had a laugh over the town staff, and then we just went back to them and said,
I might have to rub that time capsule tomorrow, just for,
Right.
personal satisfaction.
yeah, if you can, if you need to borrow it, let the
Yes.
county know.
I think we should get a Verizon sign and hang it right there on the pole.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. I mean, it's sorry. Link's getting ready to, he's watching his stock value go down as we're speaking.
Thank you, Verizon.
He put on his Jerry hat.
Wasn't Chris Robinson the CEO there for a while? And I think he actually he lived in Leonce's house there for a while. I did some work at that house. But he's no longer with Verizon, though.
Anyway, so thank you, town staff, for staying on top of it. We're just going to keep pounding away. Now, it's not just a joke, but we shook our heads when that letter came in. And I ran right up there and took pictures. It's right, almost across the street from me. So anyway, that's it.
Did you send them the picture?
We did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We sent him a couple pictures of it. What we needed is to send the picture of the old guy that lived across the street. So you guys.
Yeah.
So here we are, and I drive by, and I'm looking for my father-in-law, who used to walk up and down there anyway when he wasn't supposed to. And I look, and the guy that used to live across the street is in his underwear, and he's got a screwdriver this long, and he's poking at the things.
Oh,
And trying to I have no idea what he's trying to do. But anyway, that was the
Sounds
beginning.
dangerous.
That was the beginning of the end of it. But he didn't go too much longer than that.
Yeah.
And then we just dropped it. Now it's an eyesore. We got to take care of it.
Is
So.
his hair standing up?
I did. I was more focused on the underwear. I was like thinking
that's the picture
this is
you
a weird
need to
one.
send to Verizon.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, guys. That's it. Anything else? Niles, you have something?
No. Just one last item.
I thought Wade said that was it.
No. For you guys.
Okay.
Your favorite item.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
No, we'll do that. That's all there is.
That's what it was.
Okay. Motion to adjourn by Brian, second from Sarah. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
I guess that's enough community commission, because I used to have
Say,
that.
Jay.